I love this story. It has some of the funniest lines in the Bible. It also has the story of the underdog battling a bully and winning.
Oh my goodness! How did Elijah do that? What does he have that we don't have?
However, there is an underlying element that I think, yeah, this is a great story, but did it happen? Did Elijah really do this, or did he have some trickery or some sleight of hand? There are three sides to this coin. I know what you're saying, how can a coin have three sides? That might seem confusing, but in essence, this three-sided coin is the main problem. Well, let's have a look and go over some backstory, and then it might be easier to explain. The first side of the coin and leading bullies are King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. King Ahab is one of the kings of Israel. We have King David and his son King Solomon, and after King Solomon died, it got very well Game of Thrones, and people were divided. They were divided between the kingdom of the north and the kingdom of the south. Sound familiar? King Ahab was the seventh in line of the north and has the reputation of being one of the most evil. This reputation is helped along by his queen, Jezebel, who even to this day, her name is used as a derogatory term. Now, Queen Jezebel wanted there to be just one side of the coin with Baal worship. So, having the priest of God of Israel, yeah, she liked to put them to death. Enter the second side of the coin, and the underdog. Elijah, he was a prophet and follower of God and his ways. 3 years previous, he declared to King Ahab that there was going to be a drought because of his worshipping other gods, and since then it has only been drought. So King Ahab is now taking his livestock for the whole kingdom and searching for a patch of ground that could feed them. I would even say that the drought is so severe that the king himself is doing this work and not just leaving it to his servants. You know, apart from war, not much gets a king off his royal throne, but here he is doing the grunt work to save his kingdom. Which brings us to the third side of the coin. There are people that follow God, and there are people that follow other gods like Baal or Baal at the same time. King Ahab was one of those people. He should have been just worshipping God, but he was also letting the worship of Baal happen as well. This is the main problem and why Elijah is so angry. He was fine with the people worshipping Baal, but just go do that. That's your decision, your consequences. Now, while King Ahab is trying to rescue his livestock, he meets up with Elijah and gives him a few choice words for bringing, the drought onto his kingdom. King Ahab tells Elijah he is a troublemaker, but I'm sure he added a few choice words that didn't get printed. Elijah spins it back on King Ahab and sets up a challenge to declare once and for all that the side of the coin that everyone should be worshipping is the God of Israel, and to gather up all the priests of Baal and even the priests that hang around Queen Jezebel worshipping Asherah. This makes a total of about 950 priests of Baal, etc., and one lonely Elijah. So the Battle of Mount Carmel begins. He stated, let's both build an altar with an offering on it, and without putting any fire under it, and without any intervention, asking their God to light the fire. Just put a bit of an edge on this. Elijah states, he who fails is put to death.
Why is this taking so long?
I don't know, your worship.
This is a competition. We need our God Baal to light this fire by himself to prove that he is all powerful.
Yes, your magnificent.
We don't want Elijah over there to prove his God is the God when it's his turn.
Sorry, your lordship, we have tried everything
praising Baal, worshipping Baal. We have even tried for so long now. We are just starting to yell at it.
This has now got the interest of the people, and there would have been a massive crowd. The priest of Baal tried all day and ended in frustration, exhausted and bloody, as they had cut themselves in desperation to get Baal to light the fire. This is where all the comedy starts, with Elijah doing a stand-up routine, and I quote, "At noon, Elijah began to taunt them. 'Shout louder,' he said. 'Surely he is a god. Perhaps he is deep in thought, or busy, or traveling. Maybe he is sleeping and must be awakened.'"
What's Elijah doing over there? I haven't seen him coming out of his tent all day. I don't know, your kingliness. We need to do something.
Well, I've just received a note from Elijah.
What does it say?
Why are you taking so long?
We need to keep trying to have Baal light this fire before he gets a chance.
He also says, is your God still on the toilet?
Oh my goodness.
Did he sleep in this morning?
What?
He said, maybe you forgot to give him an early morning wake-up call.
Did we forget to give him an early... Did we? Well, we need to do something.
He says maybe we should have given him a rickroll.
Rickroll?
So they shouted louder and slashed themselves with swords and spears, as was their custom, until their blood flowed. Midday passed, and they continued their frantic prophesying until the time for the evening sacrifice. But there was no response. No one answered. No one paid attention.
There's more. Oh my goodness. He said, you guys have taken so long, I've had to order a chicken and avocado sandwich, French press coffee, a continental cheese platter, scones, jam and cream, and a bag of mixed nuts, orange juice, and... Okay, that's enough, Crockenbush. Okay, stop, everyone! Okay. Tell Elijah it's his turn. As you wish, sire.
Oh! I think we're in the clear.
Oh my goodness! How did Elijah do that? What does he have that we don't have? Catering?
Then Elijah says, "Follow me." He sets up a pile of stones, wood and offering, gets people to even pour water over the pile, says a simple prayer to God, and the fire from heaven lights it and consumes everything. Now, after this, Elijah prays again and the drought is lifted. So did this battle even happen? Did the people in this story even exist outside the Bible? Okay, let's have a look. Historically, King Ahab is mentioned in what they call the Mesha stone. Around 840 BC, King Mesha of Moab talks about his winning a battle and getting the land back for his people from the oppressor King Omri and his son. King Omri, as stated in 1 Kings, is Ahab's father, so that would make Ahab his son. What about proof of Queen Jezebel? Well, apart from mentioning her in the Bible, there isn't much. Historians believe that they have found a royal opal seal with Jezebel's name on it, as well as Egyptian hieroglyphics, which is in keeping with what she would have used at the time. Okay, so that puts our bullies in line with the biblical account. Now here's the big question. What evidence is there that Elijah lived outside of the Bible? Now, unfortunately, I can't find any. However, Jesus himself spoke of Elijah a few times and even stated that John the Baptist was the new Elijah. I know what you're thinking, did Jesus even exist? However, there is evidence that Jesus lived outside the biblical account through Roman historians, etc., and even skeptics of Jesus can't deny that Jesus existed. However, having Jesus also confirm who Elijah is, and Jesus read from the Old Testament at the temple, and yet not once did he say that it didn't happen or was just an interesting story. Added to this, the kingdoms, as stated in Kings 1 and 2, some of the kings have been proved to have existed. So even if this all doesn't prove exactly if this battle happened, all the pieces on the chessboard are set in history and give weight that it most likely happened. The first thing, apart from it being a cool story, is, did Elijah do any trickery? Was there any sleight of hand? There is a thought that when the water jars were put onto the altar, it was really some stuff called naphtha. It was known at this time and is basically crude oil, maybe found at the surface. I guess you could say it is very similar to kerosene. Could this be what Elijah did, an old magician's trick? Get an audience member, put water on the fire, but without them knowing that they were putting on highly flammable liquid on top. They even stated that whilst he was building the altar, he could have been placing a piece of glass to create heat to light up the naphtha.
That is very clever, Mr. Elijah, very clever.
The only issue I have is that the priest of Baal desperately tried to get their god to light their wood fire and offering without intervention. Unfortunately for them, this never happened. They had tried all day from daybreak to dawn, had cut themselves yelling and frustrated and totally exhausted. One thing you could say about the priest of Baal, they did this test without trying tricks. They did it clean. But could Elijah get away with this and cheat? One thing for sure, the priests of Baal were not going to give Elijah any wiggle room for this challenge. I mean, they were going to be put to death. So finding anything that was dodgy could have saved their life. If they had smelt a rat, they would have seen through it straight away. They were probably very good at all the tricks, like a magician trying to trick another magician. Could they spot naphtha? Well, let's have a look at what exposure to naphtha can do. Following acute short-term health effects may occur immediately or shortly after exposure to naphtha. Contact can irritate and burn the skin and eyes. Breathing naphtha can irritate the nose and the throat. Exposure to naphtha can cause headache, dizziness, nausea, and vomiting. Now, if you were asked to pour out some water and what I described came out, you would see through it straight away. It's like pouring what you think is water and kerosene coming out. You would spot it straight away. Not to mention that there were 3 years and 6 months of drought leading up to this, and then because of this event and a prayer from Elijah, the drought was broken. Not to mention that the people all saw a fire from heaven. There could be no doubt Elijah finally put the coin back to one God, one nation. It makes you wonder if we're all trying to get three sides of the coin again today.
Why is this taking so long? I don't know, Your Worship. This is a competition. We need our god Baal to light this fire by himself to prove that he is all-powerful.
Yes, Your Magnificent.
We don't want Elijah over there to prove his God is the God when it's his turn.
Sorry, Your Lordship. We have tried everything. Praising Baal, worshipping Baal. We have even tried for so long now. We are just starting to yell at it.
What's Elijah doing over there? I haven't seen him coming out of his tent all day.
I don't know, your kingliness.
We need to do something.
Well, I've just received a note from Elijah.
What does it say?
Why are you taking so long?
We need to keep trying to have Baal light this fire before he gets a chance.
He also says, is your God still on the toilet?
Oh my goodness.
Did he sleep in this morning?
What?
He said, maybe you forgot to give him an early morning wake-up call.
Did we forget to give him an early... Did we? Well, we need to do something.
He says maybe we should have given him a rickroll.
Rickroll?
There's more.
Oh my goodness. He said, you guys have taken so long, I've had to order a chicken and avocado sandwich, French press coffee, a continental cheese platter, scones, jam and cream, and a bag of mixed nuts, orange juice, and...
Okay, that's enough, Crockenbush.
Okay, stop! Stop! Stop, everyone! Okay. Tell Elijah it's his turn. As you wish, sire.
Oh, I think we're in the clear.
Oh my goodness! How did Elijah do that? What does he have that we don't have? Catering?
That's a wonderful note to finish on. Catch you in the next one.